All right. Hold on. Am I on? Yep. I got audio. Good. All right. I'm just checking. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. How are you? Good day, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Okay, great show. See you later. No, I'm in Los Angeles, and I'm going to be doing a slightly tighter show because I got to hit the road. Sorry about that. We will get on with it quite quickly. But I want to say hi, everybody. Welcome. Glad you could be here. Not only do I welcome back our regulars, the people who enjoy the show on the regular and who are regular in their own lives. It's TMI. I don't need to know about it, but I thank you for not DMing me, especially not for me, but for all the the governments around the world who apparently, according to Elon Musk, are reading your DMs on Twitter, and they don't need to see that. They don't want to yuck our yum, but that's not their business. I'm just saying. Anyways, welcome, and I want to thank the trolls who are with us. We had some yesterday, and I didn't get to say anything to it because I was kind of in a hurry and I'm trying to fix the show. There's a lot to do. When you're doing the show, there's a lot going on. Oh, thanks. Right on, Carl. I'm glad. That's good to know because it worries me a little bit most of the time. That's always eating up a part of my hard drive space. Is like, does it look like shit? Does it sound like shit? Help. Anyways, so welcome. And by the way, mods, go easy on people. It's okay. You can go easy. Okay? Trolling has to reach a very high level before people get bounced. Nobody has to look at anybody else. If you can block them amongst yourselves, but yeah, just letting you know. And thanks for the Debbie. I'm glad you got to watch the Flapper show last night. And it was a good time. Yeah, overall. The next week is the Ultimate Jam Night on Tuesday, so next week's Tuesday's show will be either earlier or not at all. We'll figure that out as we go. And then, of course, the next Flapper show is May 31st. If you're a Patreon supporter, I'll be streaming that to you guys as well. And if you are in the area or of any of my upcoming stand-up shows, you get to bring a guest for free. Okay, now, let's get on with our show and have a good time. I feel like I feel like a plum, actually, if you poke me a little bit. I've got a, certain amount of turgidity. If you blink, blink, as my mom always used to say. Like, how do you feel? You feel like a plum. Anyways, it's stupid, but it's fun. I figure, we've got a lot of problems in the world. We do. The world is full of problems. There's full of challenges. Whatever your favorite, euphemism is for the shit you have to deal with. And yes, I have a high turgidity factor. Thank you for noticing, Longshot Louie. As do the trolls. Welcome, trolls. Thank you for spreading us out into the algorithm in a way that our regular viewers cannot. You're very special. And we wish you well in your internalized misery. And we hope that you're working the Macedonian hacker farm or in the troll camp that you've been assigned to. I hope the gruel is tasty. But anyways, I will say that, we deal with so many issues, problems, challenges in life that I think it's good to go straight to the solution. Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, you may be familiar with this older gentleman when he doesn't have a giant YouTube Rumble play button in front of his face. But this is a former president of the United States. And that guy is, hold on, why is this, what is this thing right here? What is that? That is the thing. Okay. Turn that up. There you go. I have this weird type right across the top of my forehead. Who is, you might know who he is. He's the only orange person in captivity, whatever. He's Alvin Bragg's new boyfriend, whatever you want to call it. But they always use this still photo no matter how the video starts. So I don't know how he settled on this super nunt picture of himself where he looks like he's on a hard fade, but it's not good. So everybody be on the lookout for the squinty right eye. And but this one, again, this is about solutions. Finally, a politician who isn't just talking about the challenges. He's got real, tangible, material, ethical, ever so slightly weird solutions. I think. I don't know. I haven't watched this, and nor would I watch it early. I'm not going to watch it without you guys. Here we go. Homelessness plan. Here it comes. Super mega cities. Build a wall around homeless people. Here we go.
Our once great cities have
become dumps. Hold on, wait. I had to turn the audio up a touch. Our once great cities have become what?
Unlivable, unsanitary nightmares.
Unlivable, unsanitary nightmares. Portland certainly, but all the other cities. If you live in one of the once great cities, I'm very sorry. Of course, we're talking about Toledo. We're talking about Bakersfield, California. We're talking about Fresno. We're talking about what's left of Miami, I suppose. And God knows what the fuck is happening in Orlando, because I hear DeSantis is going to build a prison right next to Disneyland, and we're the groomers. Please continue.
Surrender to the homeless, the drug addicted, and the violent and dangerously deranged.
Oh, so you're including yourself. Okay, good. Surrendering to the homeless. I see.
We're making many suffer for the whims of a deeply unwell few, and they are unwell indeed.
They are so unwell. They're not well. We wish them well, but the wishes don't come true. They're just not. It's like a Terrence Trent D'Arby song gone wrong.
The homeless have no right to turn every park and sidewalk into a place for them to squat.
Okay. Squatters is a euphemistic term for people who get into a building or a space that doesn't belong to them and stay there. And therefore, there are often squatters' rights and conversations about this. But in general, we're not talking about the actual act of squatting, though it does happen on occasion if there's not a public toilet.
Deeply unwell few, and they are unwell indeed.
Yes, all over Mar-a-Lago. Every time I walk past a shiny surface, I see a lunatic, a madman, a crazed idiot lost among normal people.
The homeless have no right to turn every park and sidewalk into a place for them to squat.
Sorry. Just him saying squat and not liking that he's saying the word squat. You can tell the word squat makes him uncomfortable.
Do drugs.
Yeah, squat and do drugs. If you can stand and do drugs, you haven't reached the point the point of no return, I suppose.
Should not have to step over piles of needles and waste as
piles of Neils. Neil Brennan, Neil Armstrong. There's just needles? Do you mean?
Park and sidewalk into a place for them to squat and do drugs. Americans should not have to step over piles of needles and waste as they walk down a street. A beautiful city.
When did he turn into Ed Grimley? Oh, as if like there aren't needles everywhere, I must say. And perhaps that's human waste. But perhaps it's not. Perhaps it could be chocolate ice cream. I'd hate to find out the hard way. Oh, as if. And it was such a great city. I think
or at least once beautiful city, because they've changed so much over the last 10 years.
Yeah, I blame the needles and the waste. I think probably is that what you're talking about? You just don't find that you don't find that attractive, or do you think the streets are made ugly by people greeting you in New York saying you suck, get out of here? Our great cities like New York are now filled with ruffian hoodlums, maniacs who yell at your favorite president, tell him to go back to fucking Florida, you asshole retiree. Terrible things, terrible un-American things.
Should be the rights and safety of the hardworking, law-abiding citizens who make our society function. When I'm back in the White House.
So not you. Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, I want to differentiate.
We will use every tool, lever, and authority to get
button, switch, crease, flippity doodle, flap slapper, anything at our disposal. A disposal.
Homeless off our street.
Knobs, absolutely, definitely knobs.
We want to take care of them, but they have to be off our streets. There is nothing.
Yes, that off the streets isn't the issue. It's where do they go? What's the standard? And since it was a Republican that eliminated all the mental health facilities, and it is Republicans who block the expansion of mental health facilities because they are under the impression that apparently liberals at some point are going to declare conservatism a mental disease and lock all of them up in some sort of Jade Helm Agenda 21 FEMA camp bullshit. It's a little hard to get a reasonable bill passed about taking care of people who are obviously either mentally ill from the jump or destroyed by drug use over time because of the paranoia of the right wing, interestingly enough.
About letting these individuals live in filth and squalor rather than getting them the help that they need. We need professionals to help them.
Oh yeah? So I'm hearing that maybe, perhaps an investment in mental health services on the city and state level? Sounding very dangerously Joe Biden at this point.
For a small fraction of what we spend upon Ukraine, we could take care of every homeless veteran in America.
All right, fuck you, man. You were president for 4 fucking years. You just discovered that? You had an unfunded tax cut that added a third of the fucking deficit happened under you, and you couldn't, a third of that, 40 fucking billion dollars. You can't crank out 40 fucking billion dollars, you chintzy bastard. What? Fuck you. You don't start complaining about the stuff that Democrats are currently trying to do and Republicans are fucking blocking.
Veterans are being treated horribly. Likewise, with all of the money we will save by ending mass unskilled migration.
Mass unskilled migration. I see. So you're saying that to work in and around Mar-a-Lago doesn't require skill? Because this asshole hires undocumented workers. Just saying. Has for years.
Have a huge dividend.
Laura says, how do you get Temu to stop emailing you? Unsubscribe at the bottom. The rules still apply even though it's a Chinese company to American email rules. And then you can forward them to like the whatever Spam Watch or whatever the shit that is. I'll find out, Laura.
To address this crisis in our own country.
As opposed to, what do you don't actually think we think you want to address it in any other country. I don't think he wants to address it here.
My strategy working with states, we will ban urban camping.
Yep. Still homeless at that point.
Wherever possible.
Wherever possible.
Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment and services if they're willing to be rehabilitated. Many of them don't want that.
We'll try and help them, but a lot of them would rather be put in a wood chipper for America. What a fucking dickhead. This is so fucking stupid. Many of them will try to help, but they probably don't want to. And will try. Fucking hell. Listen to this bullshit again.
This crisis in our own country. Under
Sniff.
Strategy working with states, we will ban urban camping wherever possible. Violators of these bans will be arrested, but they will be given the option to accept treatment and services if they're willing to be rehabilitated. Many of them don't want that.
If they're willing to be rehabilitated. Define rehabilitation? And does it involve anthrax or ricin or a giant hole in the ground like Logan's Run? Define rehabilitation, you bastard.
We'll give them the option.
Okay. Yeah, okay. It's only an option if there's another option, and what would that be? Oh, I know. You're going to jail them, thereby making them wards of the state, wherein they will get 3 hots and a cot and health care on the taxpayer by the way, at state expense. That's right. Get ready for block grants for prisons from the Trump administration after he gets done executing 14-year-old drug dealers because quick trial, and then I suppose giving people the option of whatever rehab is, electroshock therapy, something out of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, no doubt. He's gonna, if they don't take it, they're just gonna go straight to jail, where the taxpayer will fund their housing and their health care forever. But, you know, doing that out in the open is communism.
We will then open up large parcels of inexpensive land, bring in doctors, psychiatrists, social workers, and drug rehab specialists, and create 10 cities where the homeless...
FEMA camps. Hey, just call it a fucking FEMA camp. Declaring a national emergency about the drug problem, the homeless problem, busing people out to the middle of fucking Nebraska in the woods where there's like dead farmland, put them all in a giant camp, and then what? It's George Carlin time? What a dickhead. Yeah, FEMA work camps. And again, why is Alex Jones not flipping the fuck out over this? Because define the characteristics directly that mean you go to this fucking camp. I mean, at some point, I'm sure there's a loophole in there where you could scoop up almost anybody if they're not behaving, right? Jesus.
Can be relocated and their problems identified.
Yes, we know what their problem is. Mental illness, drug addiction, poverty, the inability to get a working job with livable ways, you know, questions of abuse, nutritional deficits. Yeah, we know what we kind of know. That's not the fucking mystery. The mystery is what you do about it. But I'm sorry. You know what, folks? I have to apologize to you, the viewer, and to this orange shit gibbon over here. Tell us how you're gonna make them all better with the anti-homeless ray.
But we'll open up our cities again, make them livable, and make them beautiful. For those who are just temporarily down on their luck, we will work to help them quickly reintegrate into a normal life.
Yeah, because that's not constantly being tried in every major city all the fucking time.
Those who have addictions, substance abuse, and common mental health problems.
Yeah, the uncommon ones like his are obviously there's going to need some obviously an outpost on Mars.
We will get them into treatment, and for those who are
we'll get them into treatment against their will.
Mentally ill and deeply disturbed, we will bring them back
to Mar-a-Lago, where they're comfortable.
Mental institutions where they belong.
Where they belong. Anybody who's addicted to Adderall. He's getting really close to Bobcat Goldthwait facial expressions. Thank you very much. I don't want to cure the homeless problem. But some people need more than a roof over their head. Walls would help. All right.
With the goal of reintegrating them back into society once they are well enough to manage. It's a tough task, a very tough task.
Yeah, you could do it in 24 hours, though. I mean, if you could solve world peace in 24 hours, you can't fix this shit? Come on.
What's taken place on the streets, what's taken place with their taking so much drugs. But the fact is, we're going to try.
Fucking, by the way, all serious issues, please do not think for a second that this fuckhead actually has a serious solution or gives a goddamn. Just like, don't even go, what? Like, it's even hard not to go, what? Because there is no what there. There will be no answer to it. It's the most futile what the fuck of your life when you listen to this man.
Strategy will be far better and also far less expensive than spending vast sums of taxpayer money to house the homeless in luxury hotels without addressing their underlying issues. And they have so many of these underlying issues.
Yes, all their issues are so underlying. Unlike his, which are just straight up lying.
This is how I will end the scourge of homelessness.
Scourge, you dumb fuck. It's pronounced scourge. I know gorge is a comfortable word falling out of your face, but it's scourge.
Make our cities clean and safe and beautiful once again.
And make the woods full of crazy, drug-addicted, homeless people. with untreated mental illness. It'll make hiking exciting again.
We will do it. We will.
Yeah, Trump is speaking of socialism. That's absolutely true. He's talking about socialist work camps, which I'd have to look it up. Somebody make a note for me to look up whether Republicans are supposedly against that or something.
Back America. Thank you.
Thank you. Especially thank you, Nebraska, for being the future dumping ground of every mentally ill person we can bus to the woods and have fun living in The Walking Dead. I hear it's a great show full of stars. So good. Yeah, this was last night he posted this. Torch Crimson. Fucking hell. That's his solution. He's going to round them up and move them out of the cities with the help of Republican governors and mayors and sheriffs, I suppose. They'll have to be involved, right? And they're going to put them all in shipping containers because that never goes wrong when people are in them. Maybe boxcars. So it's got a familiar ring to it. It seems like the kind of thing a guy with Mein Kampf on his fucking nightstand would think up. Good fucking Lord. Ugh. Like, there are several, by the way, this is obviously an issue. Obviously, part of it's poverty, part of it's drugs, part of it's mental illness, and it requires multiple solutions because you can't solve 3 different distinct problems with the same solution. That is the integral issue, the primary issue with homelessness in the United States is that we try to solve mental illness, drug-addled, drug addicted to the point of incapable of functioning in society, and people who are simply falling through the cracks or hit by hard times or go through a rough patch or have a series of every domino in their life that could fall falls at the same time. You can't solve those 3 different versions with the same fucking solution. But he's like, scoop them up, put them all in a FEMA camp in Nebraska, and we'll sort them out while we sweep the city streets. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you have to solve the actual problem attached to each one. Because let's say you solve the problem of drug tourism, like we have in Los Angeles, or Seattle and Portland deal with, also San Francisco to some degree, but mostly Oakland. Oakland, the drug tourists have really set up in Oakland, where places like Dallas and Houston are giving their drug addicts who get repeatedly arrested, they're giving them a bus ticket to Oakland and saying, fuck off. And they don't have any resources when they get there. So they basically end up in a homeless encampment doing and getting drugs. And that's different from someone who can't reason anymore. That person is on a bullet train or a Greyhound bus to drugged and fucked up. But they might be salvageable by different means before that happens. Then you have people who have effectively either started out mentally ill or have fried their brains through drugs and aren't going to recover. And those people need institutional help the rest of their lives because they are, in effect, physically handicapped by what's been done to the brain. And then you have people who need a fucking place to sleep while they look for a job because they're trying to stay, they've tried to keep their head above water, got hit by too many fucking right hooks by life, and ended up underwater. And you're never going to solve those one way. And anybody who goes, we have a thing for the homelessness. Just the jackassery of even addressing it as homelessness when there are this myriad of causes is in and of itself a failure to recognize the problem. There are people who are not homeless. They're mentally ill. There is never going to be a home for this person. They're not going to be able to manage an apartment. They're never going to be able to take care of themselves. So they are not effectively homeless. There is not a work program or a tutoring system that will help this person at all. They are not homeless. They are mentally ill with no support structure. That is not homelessness. That requires an entire different solution. Somebody who lost their apartment or were evicted or lost their home or are struggling to keep their head above water financially because they've got kids and the job they're qualified for, or what they seek to get is not going to pay enough in this particular area, might need assistance moving to a cheaper part of the country where they'd have a better life and more opportunities and the like. That oftentimes some people are simply trapped by their inability to fucking move home or move to a cheaper part of the country. They would gladly move to fucking Wyoming, but how? They can't afford to get their shit there. Their belongings are the only thing of worth they have. They can't exactly throw everything out except shit in a briefcase or a fucking duffel bag and then get on a goddamn bus and hope there's something there. Right, assisted living, some sort of like cities where people want to become functional members of a small town, for example, applying for some sort of like moving assistance would be a great program for people who have fallen below the level of being able to live in fucking San Francisco, where in fact you have to make $300,000 a year in San Francisco to take home $100,000. And that's to make $100,000. You have to make $300,000 because of the cost of living, the cost of housing, the taxes, all that kind of stuff, which is obviously going to be impossible for nearly anybody there to maintain. And you're going to have a bunch of people who fall below that level. So what do you do for those folks? Do you insist that they stay there? Do you hook them up with programs that are not going to benefit them long term? Or do you set up a program someplace else, like we do, by the way, with immigrants who have sponsors? Like we have people who come across the border who are seeking asylum. A similar program for American citizens who need help moving to a cheaper place where they need workers or they need, teachers or whatever a person is qualified for, with a couple of options, I think a lot of people would take it. Can I offer a counterpoint about moving? I'm not stuck in a very racist, homophobic state because I couldn't afford Seattle after living there for almost... You're not stuck in a very racist, homophobic state because I couldn't afford Seattle after living there for almost 2 decades. Granted, but also I think as people move around, people tend to be... you find that people are pretty okay in most places. The states, and as more people move there and become productive members of society, who aren't normal to that crowd, it's a learning lesson for the people around them. It certainly beats living on the street. And by the way, that is one possible solution of 5 that you could have just for people who have fallen through the cracks. Not drug addicted people, not mentally ill. I'm talking singularly. That issue. There's a big NIMBY issue. Partly K-Link, but the problem is we have a recognition issue with, again, when you scoop all the homeless people, all the people who are homeless without a home into one category, then nobody wants to live next to a mentally ill child predator who couldn't get an apartment because they had to register as a sex offender, so they just stopped doing it and they dropped off the grid and they use drugs anyways, and so they live in a tent city amongst 10 people who are just, broke, or any myriad of other issues have brought them there. But this fucker, nobody wants to be next to that person. And since we categorically kind of squish everybody together into one mass, the average person in the public is going to react to the homeless based on the highest threat level, the most dangerous, most difficult, and most concerning aspect of a group of unknown strangers living in tents nearby, right? There's nothing wrong with that. That's why you have to solve for the real problems, not for homelessness, like spackle it shut like it's all the same fucking hole. That's what I think. Anyways, yeah. Let's see. People look at their income in California and think moving to New Mexico will be cheaper without realizing their income will not be as high here unless they have the ability to work remotely. But they have to be willing to leave the big city. There are a lot of people who wouldn't go to the suburbs if you offered them a free house there. I don't know. I think, and again, if you're trying to raise a family, that's different. But again, just the fact that you guys are talking about it in the chat room this way, I think that is a moment of you guys recognizing how many solutions there need to be. Yep. And Trump wasn't addressing anything. He was talking about brooming problematic people from the streets and putting them somewhere where you can forget about them. He didn't talk about the actual funding. And in the middle of the thing, he couldn't stop himself from saying, well, these people probably don't want any help anyways. Get the fuck out of here. Like, again, there's no reason to even entertain that he really has a solution or really is interested in it. He's recognizing that a lot of people are bitching about it or are concerned about it and is just taking advantage of that fact. Why in the world would I want to raise a family in the suburbs where the bigots are? I don't know that, Akira, that's the suburbs aren't like necessarily bigot central per se. I mean, suburban women are the people that turned against Trump ultimately and decided the last election and the most recent one as far as sheer numbers. Conservatives don't want solutions. They want people to shut up. Well, that's heavy sleeper. That's what we're talking about with Trump. That's what he's talking about. But hold on one second. Let's jump around because I've got limited time today, so I want to show you something. This is somebody we don't really cover very often. There's this guy, Douglas Murray, who's I think he's a Brit. They're talking about Elon Musk's interview on the BBC, so that's why they brought him on, I guess. But he's talking about Biden's family business and the royal family drama, who I don't give a shit about that. I will bail out if they start talking about royals because we fought a revolutionary war, so I don't have to give a shit about the royal family. There are no magic families. Every family has magic in it. So here we go.
This morning. All right, Douglas, welcome back. Good to see you.
Morning.
Seems like Musk gives us a headline every single day, gives his opinion, never holds back. It's like a breath of fresh air in corporate America, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. I mean, he's been like this throughout his career in a way.
Yeah, especially in 2017 when he said Tesla cars would have auto drive by the end of the year and you'd be using them as free labor because they would drive around at night acting as a taxi cab for you.
Certainly he's sort of letting himself fly now. He did so with Tucker in this interview. I'm looking forward to
We looked at some of that. We'll look at more of it tomorrow, by the way.
the rest of it tonight. He did so, of course, last week in that embarrassing interview with the BBC journalist who, from our own country of origin, embarrassed Great Britain by this BBC interviewer was sort of saying, well, what about hatey words on Twitter? Isn't it mean? Isn't it a mean place to be? And he was
Yes.
totally unprepared for the interview, and of course Musk just said, I call you out and say that you don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you're lying.
You're lying. That was certainly a breath of fresh air. Not many CEOs or anyone else has the gall, the guts, actually.
He's not going away.
No.
This man is not going to go. He's got the bit between the teeth and he's running.
Well, because effectively they've thrown everything they can at him already. The new
No, they haven't. And let's be completely honest. Musk is better at Trump at skating on the myth that he's in control and that he's smarter than he is. He's better at it. But largely it's because he uses the right buzzwords, speaks very very plainly, has an accent, and his South African accent makes him sound mildly erudite to people who listen to him. But spending $44 billion on a site like Twitter and then losing half of it right away with no real reason, nothing to show for it. Like, the site did not become free speech central all of a sudden. He's having to bounce people just like everybody else did. He's letting some pricks on, but then he asked, I mean, Ali Alexander just got bumped, and he was one of the people that Musk was letting back on.
Times has already run the piece, claiming that because he was born in South Africa, he must be pro-apartheid. The left has already done all of the nasty character assassination attempts that they could do. He's survived them. So
yeah, so has Bill Gates. Like, if you listen to these guys, Bill Gates apparently is buying up all the farmland in the world. Listen to Glenn Beck or Alex Jones talk about, or Russell Brand or fucking Jimmy Dore talk about anything that Gates does, and it's all about him depopulating the earth and murdering everybody. Yeah, he's still super rich too. Do you think that's going to change their opinion of him? Like, well, I don't know. We've attacked him a lot, and it really hasn't moved the needle. So maybe he's an okay guy after all.
Now he's just kind of flying free, and you can see he actually enjoys it.
Yeah, it's a tremendous freedom in losing $20 billion in less than a year.
Wonder what's coming next. Who's he going to buy? Who's he going to unseat?
Yeah.
Jeez, Varney's very excited. He's getting... His seat's getting damp just talking about it.
Good stuff, it really is. Change the subject, Douglas. This is for you. Congressman James Comer, he says 6 additional members of the Biden family, quote, may have benefited from Hunter's business dealings.
Ooh, they may have. They may have benefited from his business dealings, where he was in business and doing business. So how many members of the Trump family may have benefited from the Trump organization's business dealings? It's a trick question. None. It's all they do is lose money.
6 new members of the family. Roll tape.
This isn't just about the president's son or the president's brother. We've identified 6 new Biden family members involved in shady foreign transactions that we believe were a direct result of influence peddling. That brings the number.
By the way, it's because they can't find anything in what he's doing as president that benefits China. So they're like, there's something about, I don't know, Qatar or whatever. I don't like, oh, he's fucking that country too. Like, everybody that pays Biden money, apparently they fund his family so he can slap him in the face with his dick. I don't get it.
Biden family members now to 9 that were involved in the Biden family influence peddling, and we still have more family members that we suspect were involved. So this is a family affair. This is something that should be troubling to every American.
Yeah, I would like to see the evidence of favoritism on behalf of the countries they're discussing, especially China in this particular case. Name one thing that Biden has done for China since he's been in office. Holy shit. Oh, Mr. Bojangles, thank you so much. So he's downright disgusted and his life ain't worth a damn. He's looking for a girl with Carrie Lake eyes. Carrie Lake eyes. I need one of those blur filters and something to staple my eyes open.
Well, Douglas, we've often wondered, does China have something on President Biden?
Yes, they gave him billions of dollars so that he would do the CHIPS Act and the AUKUS agreement and reignite the Quad and circle Taiwan with nuclear-powered submarines and send Marines and Nancy Pelosi and Kevin McCarthy and other members of Congress to Taiwan. Yeah, sure.
And is Hunter what they've got on him?
Well,
yeah. What can you imagine what would happen if people found out that Hunter Biden naps after smoking crack, has had sex with prostitutes, lost a gun in a dumpster, and smokes in a bathtub? If that gets out. Oh, it's already out. Do these assholes know how blackmail works?
They have a knowledge of how much it costs to buy a Biden. I mean, that's for sure.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is for sure. Based on?
They know that.
Oh, they do. What did they get? How much was it? Because apparently they're getting shortchanged on the deal. I'm just saying.
Douglas?
I mean, this isn't something entirely new in American politics, of course. I mean, you know, we had...
Of course, we had Jared Kushner in the White House and the $2 billion they walked away with, but that's chump change. At the very least, no, the Saudis aren't benefiting from the, oh, shit.
Issue of, I mean, everyone was forever speculating on whether the Trumps had just sort of got into office to make money. You know, it didn't seem much that way. If that was the plan, it didn't work. But we had that with the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation, of course. Everybody knows that the higher you rise in American politics, the more possible it is for the cash spigot to not only benefit you, but everyone in your vicinity.
Yes, that's the lesson we learned from Jimmy Carter, I think, more than any other. Or even Ronald Reagan. Pretty nice ranch.
But this is something different, of course, because it's to do with our chief adversary, the country which is currently doing deals like the Brazil deal the other week, deliberately circumventing the US dollar.
Uh-huh. Why would they do that if Biden is going to collapse the dollar, like you've said? Why would they need to do this?
China is doing all of that. If it has effectively compromising information on the Biden family, such as the cost of effectively buying them up, then this is very serious for America.
Yes, and one need only point to this specific example of how the Biden administration has done things on behalf of the CCP, like perhaps, let's see. Grandchild doing Mandarin? No, that was Trump. Trade deal? No, that was exploring the cause of an... Yeah, shit, you stumped me. Nothing. Yeah. More sanctions? Is this a fetish? Is that what we're dealing with?
And there's one additional thing, which is the House Judiciary Committee, of course, are now in a totally different bit of terrain. Ever since the Trump indictment, ever since all the claims against him and him appearing in court downtown the other week, well, you know, the scene has changed, hasn't it? Because
yes. So people are more aware of Trump's misdeeds, and it's going to get worse for him.
Longer talking about that sort of let's investigate the Clintons, lock her up theoretical. No, we're actually talking about a scenario where...
Yes. What he's essentially saying is that all the stuff that Trump promised to do or threatened to do that he failed to do, which is almost everything, yet again, it's another example of a Democrat coming in, not having to threaten about it, saying they're going to do something, and actually achieving it. Kind of like the infrastructure bill.
Republicans may do to the Democrats what the Democrats just did to the Republicans.
Well, blah, blah, blah.
Wait, all right. You've got a British accent there.
Fuck off. I'm not doing fucking anything to do with... Hold on one second. Hi. I'm not doing any Royals shit. I don't care. I don't fucking give a shit. I don't... And by the way, I don't even care about people who marry into the Royals and how they're treated by the family or anybody else. If you don't know what you're getting yourself into with that family, fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to care. It has zero impact on my life. You mean the Rohal cult? The royal cult? Uh-huh. Yeah, I am not. No, there's no fuck. I don't care. And if you're like, I don't know, he just seemed like a nice guy. I just married him because there was something special about him. Yes, he was a prince and a member of the royal family. But that was just an ancillary thing. There were all kinds of guys in my DMs, but this nerdy ginger was right up my alley eventually. No, please. Fuck off with that nonsense. I don't care. I'm not gonna care. There's too many families to care about, and that ain't one of them. Welcome back, Slayer Chick. I am glad you have returned. Hello, chat room. All right, one last piece, and then I got to get on the road. And I feel like, hold on, this one doesn't want to load because it's being weird. Load, stupid. Oh, it went away. Never mind. Okay. I feel like it's been a long time, and we need some Gorka. Oh yes. Gorka. There he is. That hurts a little bit. Jam my jaw that far back into my neck. Gorka. Oh, thanks, Mealy. This is my road rig. Thanks. I'm glad you like the orange set. I'll use it more often if that helps. Gorka. Oh, Gorka. And this. I'm fascinated by this idea, and I totally believe it. Trump has never been more excited, happier, and more proud than he has been once he's under indictment. Yeah, only an hour today because I got to get on the road. President Trump in extraordinary mood after Bragg indictment, and the pills have very little to do with it.
Matt Boyle,
Oh, God.
Washington bureau chief for the conservative juggernaut that is Breitbart. Happy Monday, Matt.
Jesus
Dr.
Christ.
G, always a pleasure to be here.
All right, and we've got you
Dr.
live
G,
on.
Dr. G is super great or whatever. Anyways, I gotta cut this short because I got an incel meeting in about 2 hours, and I'm in charge of cookies tonight. Okay.
That's a big deal. Technology is no barrier for this man. All right, so NRA convention, President Trump gave a speech there, and then I believe you got to have a chat with him, Matt.
Yeah, like, and that's when you want to talk to him because nothing better than him at an NRA meeting where he cannot fire a gun. Insofar as I know, Trump has never fired a gun. Like, I don't know if there's footage of it. Well, maybe look up. There has to be some. At this point, it's fucking America. Who hasn't got footage of themselves in the Instagram era shooting a machine gun at this point?
Yeah, so we spent about a half an hour after his
Goddamn,
speech
wow.
talking about a whole number of different things. Obviously, we talked about the arraignment.
Obviously. And I gave him a great plan for how to solve homelessness with a giant camp in the middle of Nebraska.
And there's a lot more stories that are going to be coming out in the coming days.
That's weird. Have you told the news? Are they ready?
About that and what was going through his mind when he was on, going through that and sitting there.
If anything. I think it's kind of you, sir, to assume that anything is going through his mind.
That table, that infamous photo that everybody can see.
That fabulous photo, not infamous, fabulous.
Oh, it's great. It's so wonderful, Gorka.
Right, fabulous, right? Like, so the
It is fabulous. That's the word you would use, Yeah, I'm not so. Sorry. I might need to pause more often if they're going to be this macho.
talked about that. We talked a lot about the state of the race. He knows.
I'm sorry, but it's very concerning whenever Trump and race becomes a conversation. But okay.
We all know it. Everyone knows it. Donald Trump is the front runner for the Republican nomination.
Mm-hmm. Yes. In a party ticket that has the runs already, he's definitely the first one out of the chute.
Presidency, but also arguably the front-running candidate in either party right now.
Yes. Yeah. If he ran for the Democratic nomination, he'd get it. And don't get me started on the Forward Party.
For the presidency. That's including the incumbent Democrat President Joe Biden, President Trump. Since
we got to give him credit for admitting he's president. That's good.
Arraignment has led in 3 national surveys, 2 from YouGov, 1 from Rasmussen Reports.
Really, Rasmussen? I would have never guessed that Rasmussen would go with Trump. And YouGov as well? That's weird. So you're saying the same ones that said he was going to win in 2020? Okay, just clarifying.
President Biden in a general election in national polling. So what we're starting to see, there's a poll also that came out that shows him in a virtual tie with President Biden in
a virtual tie.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, until he starts talking, and then something happens.
One of the key battleground states there, Rust Belt state.
Hang on. Scranton Joe doesn't have Pennsylvania locked in?
No, he does not have Pennsylvania locked down. So the poll showed Biden at 30.
Yes, never mind the fact that this poll is in the rural parts of Pennsylvania.
Trump at 35. That's a virtual tie for those of us in the media who track these. So President Trump knows that he's in the lead, right?
Yes, he seems like it. I think the late night all caps screaming at the sky really, it just reeks winner.
The way I would describe it is he was on cloud nine. He was on top of the world. Right?
High, I think is the word you're looking for. So a fresh batch of Adderall had arrived with his benzos.
He knows that he's in the lead for the White House right now of either party. He's on fire right now, and he's also unifying the Republican Party behind him. So in the moments,
yeah, that's exactly what's happening. And where did he get this idea? Besides the sycophants around him like Stephen Miller, who only let him see the good news.
Up to our interview with President Trump in Indianapolis after his NRA speech, Senator Ted Budd from North Carolina endorsed him. And then in the moments after our interview, because he had flown directly from Indianapolis down to Nashville, where he had done the keynote address at the RNC meetings there, the Republican National Committee.
Yes, basically the same shit he said at the NRA meeting, which is in great taste.
Meetings there in Nashville. Both U.S. senators from Tennessee now have endorsed President Trump in the last 24 hours.
Yes. And that's, I mean, shocking. What a huge turn of events. You don't say that the Tennessee senators are going with the Republican who's out front. Really? How did that happen? It's amazing. It really speaks to Trump's ability to create a big tent, wouldn't you say?
Marshall Blackburn, the senior senator from Tennessee, this morning, and last night, Senator Bill Hagerty, the junior senator from Tennessee, both of whom, by the way, are U.S. senators in large part because of President Trump.
And would go with the Republican every time anyways?
President Trump knows that he's got...
President Trump knows that he's got general support amongst the most maggoty Republicans and a bit of an ice skate uphill for anybody else. And that's why he feels great, He's definitely feeling that it's time to launch that pineapple farm.
And by the way, I would point you back to 2016. He's in a much stronger position than 2016. We talked about that.
No. Did he say that, or did you say that to him, and that's why he kept talking to you? Because you do realize that if you want to do an interview with Trump, you have to drop these, you're fantastic, you're doing so great. Have you seen, I just saw a recent poll. You may not have even seen it yet, but you basically already won. And that's how you get an extra 10 minutes out of this dipshit?
Because in 2016, the first U.S. senator to endorse him was the then Senator Jeff Sessions, and that wasn't until...
That worked out well for both of them.
After several states had already voted. He had already won New Hampshire and South Carolina, and Iowa had already voted. He has...
Okay, first of all, this is a normal conversation about any incumbent or former president running in a situation, because the one thing that they do have is a comparative position from when they ran before and won, even before they lost in this particular case. If we're talking about like Biden running again or Obama running again, there's always that conversation about known entity versus unknown entity. I don't know what the fuck this guy thinks is... Good Lord.
U.S. senators backing his campaign.
Yeah, he's doing way better than people who aren't running yet.
Right now, and more on the way from what I hear. In addition to that, he's very pleased that Congressman Byron Donalds from Florida here has endorsed his campaign as
Okay, so you're telling me he's nailed down Tennessee and Florida. Dear God, what a turning point for Republicans.
That was a shocker to a lot of people because Byron Donalds is particularly close with Governor DeSantis.
And their wives as well are apparently very close.
Gorga.
Yes, and Byron Donalds even introduced Governor DeSantis at his reelection.
By the way, everybody, psst, lean in. we don't have to actually give a shit about this part of it or whatever. But just, I want you to enjoy the fact that the shock that a Republican congressperson is endorsing the former president of the United States for a re-election campaign is amazing to them because of the other Republican in the race. Popcorn, anyone?
Party in Tallahassee on election night in November 2022. And Erica Donalds, Byron's wife, the congressman's wife, is serving on a board appointed by Governor DeSantis to a state board. So they have been particularly close. So that was a real shocker endorsement. But there's more and more that keeps happening here, and it's pretty.
Yeah, it's a lot's going on. So much is going on with the polls that are polling, and it's amazing that Trump is doing as well as he is doing as a former incumbent, who, is up against somebody who, from a charisma point of view, is really lightning in a bottle. Somebody like Ron DeSantis should be running away with this because the man is magic. I mean, move over, Kennedys. Step aside, Barack Obama. If anybody can talk himself into a free lunch, it's Ron DeSantis. I mean, the man, he's got intellect and appeal of some sort. And the fact that, Trump isn't neck and neck with him is amazing.
President Trump.
It's unbelievable.
Solidifying his position in the Republican Party. And again,
he's solidified. He was the fucking president. He was the head of your party. Solidifying his position. You do realize this is terrible news, right? You do realize your party is shit. If the guy who won is trying to run again and he's like, I think he's got a shot. Jesus Christ, you guys, what? Why did these folks not recognize this is a terrible conversation?
He knows that he's
but Matt, there's this peculiar thing that almost 3 weeks ago, the Florida State House changed the constitution of the state to allow an incumbent senator to run for another office.
Governor.
Why isn't DeSantis declaring? I don't get it. They've made it possible. Is it likely that he may not even run and his polling figures are so bad he's going to wait till...
Yeah, his polling figures are so bad. He's like at 30% in the party when Trump's 46%. And if Trump drops out or can't go or gets convicted, like the number goes up to where he's the head of... But of course he's not going to fucking bow out. And he's going to save announcing till he's in a normal window because he's not a lunatic running from a criminal conviction.
Hey.
I don't know. At this stage...
YouGov average of polls April 14th to 17th, Biden beats Trump by 6 points. That's exactly where it is in reality. You're absolutely right, Bike Shop Guru.
I fully still expect him to try to run, but...
Try. All right. Oh, you mean like Trump is trying to run. I see. Is that how Republicans define it now?
Maybe he's starting to have second thoughts about it. Maybe
that, I don't know.
Starting to
By the way, the fact that these two aren't a sitcom, I don't understand it. How are they not the two weird neighbors who live together next door on a huge American sitcom? How is it? I mean, look at them. It's comedy gold. Golka and the Dweeb. I'm telling you, maybe Cartoon Network, something.
Especially as he's dropped fast in
the dud couple. Come on.
Very hard. Look, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been at Breitbart now for more than 10 years. I can
1.5 men, each of them being 3/4.
I've tracked these races for years and years and years.
Yes, you seem like a fellow who's been tracking the races for a very long time.
I've never seen anything like his drop in the national polls that we've seen, and in several key states. And this was some of the things that we talked about with President Trump. Because, as you're seeing...
Yeah, because if you're talking to Trump, what you want to bring up is how shitty DeSantis is doing. Again, that buys you another, 3 minutes of conversation with the asshole. He'll then, Oh, people are saying.
DeSantis drop, you're seeing Trump rise, and all
Yes, Trump rises like furniture from the ashes.
these different states. Texas, I mean, you're talking about 30, 40-point swings since the end of last year towards President Trump, away from Governor DeSantis in
Who hasn't announced yet?
Texas. You're talking about double-digit leads in Florida. President Trump leads by double digits in Florida.
And a list of people like, of the people running, who do you think you'll vote for? And there's like Trump and Ramaswamy, and that's it. So, and some people will write in, like, they'll put in DeSantis even though he's not technically running, and that's why his numbers are low.
The state that just realized
I don't, by the way, none of us give a shit. They let them bite each other's ankles. This is silly.
Governor DeSantis. You see South Carolina, New Hampshire, Iowa, all have, the first three states, all have double-digit leads for President Trump.
Yeah, and honestly, nothing about the classified documents case is going to look bad at all for national security-oriented, middle-of-the-road Republican voters at all. None of them are going to stay home because fuck that guy. So, you know, the important thing is that he polls almost at 50%. When he was the actual president, and he could be again, technically. He won't be, but technically he could be. Good Lord.
There's not a single state out there since the indictment or arraignment where DeSantis is leading. So maybe he is considering.
Look, I think.
Yeah, maybe he's learned his lesson, you know, that the Republican Party is not going to support you and is not going to actually, no one wants to vote for you unless you have at least 2 indictments and 1 sexual assault charge against you concurrent while you're running. It's just not, otherwise it's not exciting. You know what I'm saying? What if I do? What if I talk like this all the time?
You know, let's do the American thing. Let's have a primary. But come on, if you're gonna run, declare. If Vivek Ramaswamy,
yeah, do run,
declare.
Sorry, that was such a dick move. Gorka.
You can too. We're talking to Matt Boyle. He'll be with us for another segment. Don't.
I don't think so. I don't know if I could take another segment of Matt Boyle. I was bored when you introduced him.
Go anywhere. Follow him right now. Truth Social.
No, I'm not following him. Okay, he's back.
Swimming pool, Lilo. Was it like a little bit like Tippy?
I was joking with you during the break. Yeah, first off, yes, I've been to Guam. I went there in 2017 when Trump was president. As for whether or not Guam is going to tip over, no, it is not going to tip over ever.
Oh, the fun they have. This is good. And I thought I was going to miss some of the fun. And this was so, you know, full of, because it's informative as well. And also very humorous. And it's just such a great show. Such a great show. Very exciting. It's very... I'm sorry, why am I supposed to give a shit about these 2 idiots again?
It is an island, just like a Hawaiian island or...
Jesus Christ. I don't know is this what their shows are like all the time? Bye. I can't. I fucking can't. I don't have time for this shit. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to bring something up. Because it was shorter. Let me bring this down, and then I got into here, and then I gotta open this guy again, and then I gotta hello Discord open up, and then don't worry. By the way, we have a Discord. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you can use the cool parts of it. Okay. And going to here, and then going to staff talk. Wait a second. There we go. And then there was this whole thing with. Where is it? See, I'll find it. CSL. Don't worry. It's it's Mike Pillow. Let's see. I'm gonna find it. Don't worry. Just have to scroll through the idiocy. It's tough. It's very hard. Oh my God. And there's so much choice shit today, brother. Like it's the amount of just awful And I've got the entire AI thing with Elon Musk. I'm going to be covering that over the course of the week, and other people who are chiming in because they're watching it, saying stupid, uninformed, cartoonishly ignorant techno babble. Where are you, you silly person? It's maybe it's Brannon House, and they I'll find it. Give me a second. Hell, there's like such crazy fucking people on. Like right now, the right is scrambling for something to be mad about. They're having a real hard time, and they should. It should be easy. They should be able to deal with a lot of this shit. Yeah, let's grab this real quick. Idiocy. Okay, so I want to show you. We're going to deal, like I said, with the... get out of here, you dummy. Hold on, sorry. Where's the... No, I don't want to sign up, you stupid. Get out of here. I'm not going to do it. There you go. Okay. Pause. Here you go. And then hopefully... Yeah, okay, we're good. Now let me jump back over here and open this up, and I'm fine. They're just so, like, they really are having a hard time finding shit to flip out about. And they're trying very hard. I mean, obviously, gas prices are coming down. We're headed towards a deflationary cycle. They know that some of the talking points are going to die, so they're trying to, like, see what floats that will last into into the general. Right now, it's transgender issues. That's the one fire they feel like they can light because of everybody's sort of ignorance on the general issues and both sides talking past each other when they are trying to say something sensible. So I'll show you what I mean. Give me 1 second. Let's jump over here. Think this business. So over here, we have the lovely folks at Frank's speech talking about the growing danger of artificial intelligence. And I think he's talking about Mike Lindell. But this is Brannon House, the guy who is constantly picking Mike Lindell's pocket. And I'll turn this on, and then we'll go to here, and pardon me if it's loud right out of the gate. But this is the title of this one is fantastic. The growing danger of artificial intelligence. But the reasoning is that, well, where is it? Nobody commented? Weird. Basically that there's demons. That it's a demon. That AI is a demon. I don't want to oversimplify, but they mean demon. Like, for real.
Google CEO says he doesn't fully understand how new artificial intelligence programs called BARD, the name of it, works. After it taught itself a foreign language it was not trained to and cited fake books to solve an economics problem. So this is very interesting, Mike.
Is it?
Because
is it though? Also, we've talked about this, how AI, because it's not connected to the internet, and BARD, because when it initially started, was limited to when it could draw stuff from the internet, but it was asked it's asked to solve current problems, things that are going on right now. And what it will do is it will do pattern recognition on the past. So it's sort of, it's not lying about these economic books. It is predicting a possible future because of what word usually follows what. This is like an entire thesis written on predictive text, just so you know. But these are stupid people discussing this, just so you know.
Now, I don't know at what point these things are really, really smart.
Well, obviously that's outside your field of expertise.
At what point we are starting to introduce demonic entities posing as artificial intelligence. You know, when we were
demonic entities posing, as because that's they need. They're tired of being little girls that puke up green slime. They want to be like the chick in the ring who crawls out of your television set.
I didn't, but people fooled around with Ouija boards, right?
Yes, it's the same thing. Ouija board, ChatGPT. Either way, you're getting messages from someplace you don't understand. It's the same thing.
They thought they were.
It's like it's like somebody who's masturbating with a brontosaurus bone. You're just doing evil things. Hold on. Why does it turn off the audio and not stop the video? These guys are very weird. Lindell. Lindell TV is built for shit. Fire Brandon. Get some real people in there.
When we were growing up, I didn't, but people fooled around with Ouija boards, right? And they thought they were talking to their dead relative. Well, you and I know, of course, they were fooling around with the demonic world. And
yes, all their dead relatives went to hell. You can only talk to your dead relatives if they were evil people. If it's actually your grandmother, she's in heaven. So, she's too busy playing the harp to answer. Who doesn't know this? God damn it. Every time I hit the play button, there you go.
Demon world, and they shouldn't be doing that.
Are you sure? I don't know. Messing around with the demon world? Yeah, she's in a farm upstate. Right. No, we replaced her with a grandma that looks just like her. It's the goldfish principle.
These people today who are into transhumanism, technocracy, like Elon Musk is.
Definitely a devil worshiper, evil to the core, and...
they believe that we can hook our brain to all things internet.
And you're concerned that not having one, this puts you at a disadvantage.
Putting out the metaverse, the alternative metaverse or universe, and they want to load their mind or load their soul, their spirit up to the universe and live forever. They don't want to.
Yeah, I don't. No. You're mixing different. The metaverse is really just a place. It's just surround sound for your eyeballs. Relax.
They kind of like Satan telling Adam and Eve in the garden, "You won't die. Don't worry about that. Eat of the fruit, you'll never die." So,
right.
And how did that work out? Not very well.
There's a religious component.
Also, Jesus said, if you believe in Him, you'll never die. Same result. I'm just saying. There's a lot of people have died in that interim period. Oh shit! Get out of here.
Now involving, don't worry about that. Eat of the fruit, you'll never die. Mm-hmm. So,
right.
I think there's a religious component to this.
Did he say right or burp? Right.
There's a technological component to this, and my concern is that at what point do you have artificial intelligence that's very, very bright, very, very smart,
and something you can absolutely not compete with. Artificial. Think of it as fake smarts. How would we deal with something like that, Mike Pillow? You have fake smarts. Tell us about it. Everyone seems to think you're smart, and you ain't.
Dealing with something where you're now involving the spirit world, the demon world, the demonic world. And when I study the guys that are behind a lot of this stuff, whether it's Mark Zuckerberg or
Martin Zuckerberg,
Musk, and Elon Musk's girlfriend that he had a child with.
Living in sin at the Holiday Inn.
A lot of this stuff, whether it's Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk and Elon Musk's girlfriend.
Elon Musk. Huh? Elon Musk. See what he did there? Martin Zuckerberg at the Zuckerberg Mart.
Child with.
And his slutty girlfriend. Hold on.
I guess she's pretty much a self-described occultist from everything I've read about her today.
From my Pornhub results, she's clearly obviously I have a thing or two to learn, but still.
This is very concerning at many levels.
Was this all, well, in this article,
Yeah, but please, Mike, bring it home. We're all lost here.
Didn't Elon Musk come out and say that artificial intelligence could be the downfall of the world? I thought he also said that.
Yeah, and that's Donald Trump's job. It sounds like he's trying to slice off a piece of your pie there, Lindell.
Yes.
Caught between things. I want to ask you. There was a video that goes with that. It was on 60 Minutes. Did you see that?
A video, yes. The interview.
Yes, I did, and we can play it if you'd
right.
like. Here's 2014. Look at this.
Yeah. Oh my God. Elon Musk says artificial intelligence is like summoning the demon. So the question is, how much like it? And it's obviously Mike Pillow and Brandon House's idea that it's exactly like it. Except it isn't. But whatever.
This is partly what you're referring to. This is a 2014 CBS News article.
He's either torn. I mean, torn or whatever. But like I say, he's going to be on Tucker the next 5 days. I know I want to tune in and see that. But
no. They're going to play the interview over the course of 5 days. He's not camping in Tucker's office. Not that means anything, but fuck.
Being everybody is this. The movie The Terminator that came out, and think of that with robots and artificial intelligence, everything that.
Yeah, remember Terminator with robots and artificial intelligence and everything? I think that's how the plot went. It's been so long, and it was very convoluted. It was hard to follow. Came
out in 1984.
Oh, that's why. It probably went out because I was 14 when it happened.
And according to the movie, the people won, and the machines came back to destroy the people that stopped the machine.
That's the end of it. That's where the video stops. You're shitting me, right? So Brandon House is just fucking with him at this point. Seriously. And the nice thing is now it makes me want to go watch fucking Terminator again. Shit. Yeah, spoiler alert. God damn it. And can we just enjoy, if we can, a moment where Brandon House, the fellow he was talking to, who filled this segment up with himself talking largely, threw it to Mike Pillow. And then as soon as Mike Pillow got on a rant, on topic, trying to describe something, cut him off before he actually made a point, mid half point, wherever he's going to have one, by the way. I'm not assuming he actually has a point. Don't get me wrong. He probably didn't cut anything off, but the appearance is such that he just froze him right, back up a frame. Yeah, do the fucking crack face. He looks really earnest in the next frame. Back it up half a one where his right eye is half lidded. It's the Trump look, and it's very popular these days. I had burritos yesterday. I had some demons to summon today. Yeah, I know. You gotta spice it up. And keep in mind, like I said. Hold on, let me back up. Yeah, replay this
Google
shit.
CEO
says... This guy, right here, where is it? This guy, okay. That guy right there, on the other side, right past Mike Pillow, that guy, Brandon House, is picking Mike Pillow's pocket every fucking day. He's got a nice new studio, a fresh mic, all this stuff. Mike Pillow is doing his little break into the broadcast from the My Pillow office in fucking Minnesota, in the middle of goddamn nowhere, with just a laptop. Does Mike still have money? How does Mike still have money, though? Well, the company still makes money, and he just siphons it the fuck off. I mean, he's made money for years before he got into trouble, so he's sitting on a bunch of it. But how is he not in jail? Because technically speaking, all of his crimes are civil. Hey, life is good in Minnesota. I agree. I mean, Prince is from there. It'll always have my heart. And I had a particularly fantastic month and a half there in the early 90s. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Minneapolis. Thank you. When I went up to visit my dad, and an ex-girlfriend from high school had happened to move there. It was a lovely, lovely time. Lovely, lovely. Thank you, and to have it so close to Lake Minnetonka wasn't, yeah. All right, I'm bailing out because I got to get on the road. If you guys don't mind, so I can be home in time to actually get some sleep, so I can get up and do the show in the morning without falling asleep at the wheel, if that's all right. So much love to you guys, and we have tons of stuff to cover tomorrow too. And I've got all the Elon Musk stuff so far, and I'm pre-watching some of it because I might do it as a special on Friday morning for our Friday AI show. because there's just so much to do. And then like so many details of it, and everybody else is flipping out about it. So I want to kind of do a recap of what's going on with AI for people, and yeah, take it from there. That helps. So it's just a lot. It's a lot of stuff, and I just feel like it's one of those. Yeah, CSL. It's like one of those things where it would be like a Trump rally if I did it in one setting. It would be like fucking 6 hours. So I think I'm going to pick out choice moments and talk about it in particular, because some of their blather is just a waste of fucking time. But the stuff that actually is worth discussing is so far so poorly handled and infantile that I've got to address it. I just have to. Anyways, I love you guys. I will see you later. I'm going to take off and hit the road, and so that I'm not exhausted too much. I may still, after the day I've had, need to pull over and nap, but most of the time I need a helicopter. No, I need a small light sport aircraft. A Czech light sport would do just fine. A couple of passengers and one suitcase, perfect. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't say, no to a Cirrus SR-20 or 22, but still, I can fly that thing. So, if anybody's got one sitting around, I think I have like a distant third cousin who flies planes, who lives in like Louisiana or Mississippi or whatever. And he's apparently got a couple of planes. And my dad keeps joking about, like, hey, when you're able to fly or whatever, if he kicks off, he's going to want, they're going to want to get rid of one of those planes. Maybe he'll leave one to you. And I'm like, is that a possibility? Perhaps. Yeah. But until then, and that's a long way off, I got to drive. So I got to hit the road. So I love you guys. So I will see you later. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And don't forget, if you're ever confronted by a choice that you believe is the lesser of two evils, choose less evil.